Rated mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. Broadcasting from the Big Peach of Atlanta, Georgia. A show unfiltered, unscripted, raw. The Patriot Angle Podcast.
Address the rapidly evolving events. My national security team and I have been closely monitoring the situation on the ground in Afghanistan and moving quickly to execute the plans we had put in place to respond to every constituency, including and contingency, including the rapid collapse we're seeing now. I'll speak more in a moment about the specific steps we're taking, but I want to remind everyone how we got here and what America's interests are in Afghanistan. We went to Afghanistan almost 20 years ago with clear goals. Get those who attacked us on September 11th, 2001, and make sure al-Qaeda could not use Afghanistan as a base from which to attack us again. We did that. We severely degraded al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. We never gave up the hunt for Osama bin Laden, and we got him. That was a decade ago. Our mission in Afghanistan was never supposed to have been nation building. It was never supposed to be creating a unified, centralized democracy. Our only vital national interest in Afghanistan remains today what it has always been: preventing a terrorist attack on America's homeland. I've argued for many years that our mission should be narrowly focused on counterterrorism, not counterinsurgency or nation building. That's why I opposed the surge when it was proposed in 2009 when I was vice president. And that's why as president, I'm adamant we focus on the threats we face today in 2021, not yesterday's threats. Today.
Joe. We are facing threats. We are, because you didn't secure the Afghanistan issue. Okay? You were more worried about pushing the fucking vaccines and the mask mandates about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Okay? Where was the State Department on this issue? Where was Joe Biden on this issue, guys? Now we have an Afghanistan crisis on our hands. We have people flocking to U.S. Air Force planes and cargo planes to try to escape. We have American lives at risk in Afghanistan. And what's Joe's proposal on all this? Oh, he has a plan. Don't worry, he has a plan. But what the hell is the plan, Joe? What the hell is the plan? You have possibly hundreds of American lives at risk. And his plan was to proceed to Kabul airport, but we don't guarantee your safety en route to the airport there. Can you believe this freaking administration? This is terrible. This is insane, guys. Literally crazy. Where you have a president that just doesn't know one thing from the next. Doesn't know one damn thing from the next. And it's going to continue to get worse, guys. Continue to get worse. Listen to this.
American troops are performing this mission as professionally and as effectively as they always do. But it is not without risks. As we carry out this departure, we have made it clear to the Taliban, if they attack our personnel or disrupt our operation, the U.S. presence will be swift and the response will be swift and forceful. We will defend our people today to the unfolding situation in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
The developments...
Yeah, it's going to be swift and swell, huh, Joe? Are you going to be able to carry that mission out? Let me say one thing. Okay, everybody is jumping to the gun here on this Afghanistan crisis, okay? Everybody's jumping to the gun and saying that it's Trump's fault. Please explain. Please explain how this is Trump's fault, okay? Because Trump's not in office anymore. Hasn't been in office since January 20th, right? He's not in office anymore. Can't blame the guy. The only person that you got to blame is your current administration, not the previous administration. Okay, the current administration has to deal with this issue. That's the Biden administration. So please, again, explain to me. If you want to go there, I'll wait. How the hell is this Trump's fault? But, you even have this administration that's clearly blaming Trump and the people of Afghanistan. Trump warned, even Biden, warned the American people of the issue in Afghanistan. Laid out a scenario of how it should be done. And it was up to Joe to carry that scenario out. Has he? No. He's abandoned his post as president, not only for the Afghanistan people, which we made a promise. Okay, we made a promise to them that we would try to get them out of harm's way. Even abandoned American lives in Afghanistan, reporters, etc. Where's Joe on this? I tell you one damn thing, guys, and this is what baffles me here, okay? One thing. He's a lying, incompetent dope. He needs to be removed. Yeah, just blame Trump, you dope. It's your fault. It's your issue. You're the one that needs to deal with it. You're the one that needs to deal with it. Not the other way around. Not the other way around. Because see, last week we were dealing with what were we dealing with last week? We were dealing with Cuomo, right? Resigning. We were dealing with Joe Biden saying he's done a hell of a job. That's where the Afghanistan crisis swept right underneath the radar. It swept right underneath their radar and they didn't even see it. They didn't even see it happen. It happened over the weekend, right? I'm told, right? Yeah, over the weekend. Where the hell were they? Where the hell were they? This is terrible, guys. Terrible stuff. And it needs to get dealt with at a high level. Has to get dealt with. This cannot be ignored. Cannot be ignored. I'm telling you, what needs to be done has to be done. More on this. Check this out, guys.
We've run out of capability.
Do you have the capability to go out and collect Americans?
We don't have the capability to go out and collect up large numbers of people.
Yeah, that was that was part of the State Department. Yes, the Defense Department saying that we don't have capability of collecting large Americans in Afghanistan. What? You don't have capability? What the hell are you talking about? You have a damn SEAL team ready to go. Literally ready to go. They probably already have their gear and their weapons and all special equipment on standby ready to go. But you don't have the capability? What the hell are you talking about? This is a bunch of bullshit, guys. Bunch of bullshit. And Americans are fed up with American democratic bullshit. Folks, the enemy is within, and we are seeing it right now in the United States of America. We are facing our own enemy, the Democratic Party that is abandoning the American people. Not only through COVID, but now through this Afghanistan crisis. This is so disgusting. as to not even be spoken of. The audacity of this man to pull the military out without any thought as to the citizens of this country's safety and the billions of dollars in high-tech weapons that he left behind. I think he did this on purpose, guys, and I think you know who I'm talking about. I truly do that. I truly think that he did this on purpose. His goal was not for America, but for China, and this Taliban takeover was his goal all along. All along. They weren't looking at Afghanistan, the Biden administration, clearly. They were more worried about COVID and vaccines and mask mandates. Well, I think you need to start looking over towards the Middle East, Joe, because the real crisis that's facing this country is the safety and security of not only American lives that are now trapped and possibly held for hostage by Taliban forces, but also their people that are trying to escape horror and demise in that country. What's Joe's plans? Well, we don't know. Does he even have plans? Does he even have an agenda? Now he has to face the real music, right? The real crisis. Because this is all on Joe. All on Joe's hands. And he has to fix it, guys. He has to fix it. Because if it doesn't get done, he needs to resign. They have disgraced the United States of America, and they disgraced the people of the United States of America. With more being said, guys, we'll be right back. Hey guys, Mike from the Patriot Angle podcast. This episode is brought to you by our good friends at Blip Billboard Advertising. Guys, if you are in need for maybe extra attention to your business, maybe you have a podcast such as myself, maybe you have a small business, or maybe you're just doing something to draw attention to your product, right? You need that extra attention to bring in more revenue, maybe more viewership, maybe more customers to anything you're doing at this moment of time. Look into Blip Billboard Advertising. What is Blipboard? They are a modern digital blip, what they call themselves, a billboard, okay? You could set your own budget, your own pricing, your own scheduling, and when you want to launch your advertising on all of these billboards. Like I said, they're digital billboards. That's what sets them aside from the regular old school billboards. Also, you could find these billboards just about in every state of the country. I believe they're up to 1,500, yes, 1,500 locations in every major city, major area of this country. Guys, check them out. I use them for the podcast. They are phenomenal. They do work and they do promote your product to extreme levels to get customers and get clientele. Check them out today, guys. Blip Billboards. You can Google them and they come right up. blipbillboards.com. Check them out today. You'll love them. The Patriot Angle Podcast on demand.
And promise that they'll all make it home safe and sound.
And we're going to get everyone that we can possibly evacuated. And I'll do that as long as we possibly can until the clock runs out or we run out of capability.
Yeah, until the clock runs out or they run out of capability. This is the president's administration dealing with this. I'm sure it's the wording coming from Joe himself. This is chaoticness, guys. True chaoticness. Chaoticness. This is terrible. Terrible. Terrible, terrible stuff. When does it end? When does it end? This is let's check this out.
Inconceivable that anybody could be so incompetent, stupid, use any word you want to use, to imagine that you take out your military before you take out your U.S. citizens and civilians and others that maybe helped us, to even think of that it's not something that can be believed.
The Taliban sent...
Yeah, that's what you just heard plugged in there, voice of Donald Trump, giving his analysis on just what's going on. You know, this is a failed presidential administration, guys. And we're clearly seeing that unfold beneath our eyes. I'd like to know now, here's something here I want to bring on the show. I'd like to know, guys, where the hell are his 80 million supporters that voted for this clown in November? Where are the Biden supporters on this issue? Where are the Biden supporters on the Afghanistan issue? Do they have a soul? Do they have even a thought on their mind of what's going on? You have trapped Americans, possibly by hundreds in a count. Okay? Possibly. It's crazy. Where are their thoughts on that? Are they saying anything? Because, guys, I haven't seen one damn blip of a Biden supporter since, like, what are we, in August, right? I haven't seen one blip since possibly, what was it, maybe February? I've seen a little bit after November. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, they're talking about him like, oh, Biden's in. You know, he's going to do so much better and this and that. And Biden's going to be a better president than Trump ever was in his first 4 years and first couple months of office. Biden is getting it done. Look at all the jobs coming back. Yeah, count that. Yeah, the jobs coming back. Yeah, guys, they're coming back to work after they're reopening. How the hell is that job growth? How the hell? Explain to me right there, okay? Get a little off a subject here, but it's relating to what I'm just saying right now. How is that job growth? How is that job growth, guys? Tell me. When you have businesses opening after COVID lockdowns from dictators of governors and mayors that chose to keep these businesses down by false data of science, how the hell is that job growth? The people are coming back to the jobs, the same damn jobs that they started out with. So how is that job growth? That's the only job growth that Joe is going to get credit for. Then that's embarrassing. That's a national embarrassment as a president to not only proclaim that he's creating jobs, but he's lying off the damn factor of it to begin with. It's not job growth. It's people coming back to the jobs after the establishments are opening up, after their governors and mayors in local towns and cities are allowing it. Not job growth. I don't want to hear about it. The real job growth was created under your previous president, Donald Trump. Plain and simple. You want to you want to literally fact check that? Go ahead and fact check it. Fact check the hell out of it. More from the radical left. Check this out. Nancy Pelosi giving her insight on it. Check this out, guys. This sound bite number 5, please, into the show.
But the idea that somehow...
Oh, first we got to hear Joe, of course.
...out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens.
And while the chairs of the Democrat-led Senate Intelligence and Foreign Relations Committees and the House Foreign Affairs Committee want an investigation, Biden has at least one person in his corner outside of his administration, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, defending the decision to leave military equipment behind.
This is what happens when you withdraw. Some equipment is left there. It was hoped that that would be used by the Afghan military to defend its own country. The fact that it did not and could not was all the more the reason for us to leave.
Yeah, for us to leave. Yeah. Did you hear that from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi supporting the decision under Biden for the military equipment? Guys, they left military equipment behind. So not only did they fuel a rageful Taliban brand new army of theirs that literally not only did they take over Kabul City and they took over the presidential palace, they now have brand new American military equipment. What the fuck is that? Can you believe this garbage? The garbage. Literally setting them up for success, this administration. They have military equipment. They probably have ammunition. They probably have this. They probably have that. And it's all left under the Biden administration. Nancy Pelosi just literally grilling her views on it. It was in best interest to leave it behind. Why, Nancy? Why? Did you come to think that maybe the Taliban could have had their hands on some of this equipment to use not only against us, but use against the Afghan people? What the hell is going on? Folks, this is the mess you voted for? This is the so-called leader, the so-called better president than the previous? This is the better choice? This is the better this, the better that? You gotta be kidding me. Literally, you gotta be kidding me. This is a travesty. This is horror in the making. This needs to be stopped, guys. We are now in a crisis again with Afghanistan. Remember a decade ago, guys, we were dealing with Al-Qaeda, right? And I'll give credit to both presidents, because I can't give credit to only Obama for this. Okay, I got to give credit to Obama and also Bush. I got to give credit to both. Credit to due, okay? They both did it. Not only Obama did it, but he had a little bit of help from Bush from the previous administration on this. They destroyed and ended the caliber of Al-Qaeda. No more, okay? And then when we seen, fast forward a decade, 15 years later, the success and the destruction and the end of ISIS from Trump, right? So they both ended big type of terrorist networks. So I applaud them for that. But now we are back to square one, guys. We are back to square one with another crisis, literally steaming in the Middle East. And that's the Taliban, the most oldest known terrorist group in modern day history. These folks have been around for 1,000 years, folks. Okay, we should know the history of these people. They are a different type of terrorist group. They are a different type of people. They will do anything in their power to not only hold on to power, but they will hold on to corruption and control and possibly end up in very, very rageful of violence. These are dangerous men and possibly women in this network of terrorists. It needs to be stopped. Joe, you need to literally go to DEFCON 4, okay, and end this charade. Stop with the damn vaccines and your masking mandates. Stop that. It's not important right now, Joe. What's important is to get American lives, okay, safe, and aid the Afghan people, because they were there for us throughout all of Al-Qaeda and all through the ISIS era. You need to aid those people safely and securely. Stop worrying about the damn COVID crap and start worrying about what needs to be worried about. This is mayhem and destruction. The bloodshed will be on you, Joe, if you do not handle this correctly and maturely. Be a president, man up. If you can't do the job, literally pass it to somebody that can. Because we all know who can do this job. We all know who can do this job because we've seen him do it very, very well with the ISIS situation. We seen him handle it very well, and he destroyed it. Damn near stopped it. Damn near stopped it. What are we seeing now with Taliban? See, they're not afraid, guys. They're not afraid of this president. because the president is not laying down literally meaningful, strongful messages on how he tends to handle the situation. They were afraid of Trump. They were afraid of Trump because we haven't seen a blip about the Taliban under the Trump administration. We didn't even see anything under the Trump administration. The only thing we've seen was the ISIS situation, and they were a weaker, in my own personal opinion, type of group. The Taliban, much stronger group. It's my personal opinion. Why? Because I've seen it, the differences. I've seen the differences through social media, YouTube, and everything else between the two groups. See, this group, the Taliban, are not afraid of Joe because he's a weak-minded president. He needs to get stronger. But he's too damn fragile. Folks, we need to go to DEFCON 4. Okay, DEFCON 5, whatever. We need to. Because this situation is going to isolate even worse than it is now. This has to be stopped. Has to be stopped. What we are seeing under this administration is Joe. Sorry about that. My words, I'm telling you, I'm getting heated up, right? Joe has no clue. No clue. His handlers even said that. He has no knowledge of anything. So if he has no knowledge of anything, why don't they impeach him? Well, they can't impeach him now. They can't. Because we have a crisis under our way. Can you imagine that? An impeachment? Literally. Going through Congress, the Supreme Court, vice versa, government, right? Can you imagine impeachment hearings? Literally under not only an American hostage crisis in the Middle East, but also a crisis of the Afghan people. From a dictator of a terrorist leader of the Taliban. Can you imagine that going under right now? They can't impeach this president. It's too late now. The impeachment hearings should have happened months ago. But now we have a crisis under our way, and I think this is the only crisis that's going to save Joe from actually getting impeached or being removed from office through the 25th Amendment. Folks, what is going on is what they're trying to do is to cause as much misery for both countries, both set of people before main elections. That is what's going on, okay? Literally. We are seeing high forms of tyranny. We are seeing destruction. We are seeing mayhem. We are seeing chaos at all-time extreme levels. But should they have evacuated Americans before rushing out of there, right? Because we've seen how quick they were to rush out of there. They should have evacuated our people first. But this president abandoned his post as president. Terrible, terrible stuff. Maybe we should just be going in and getting our citizens like the British or French are doing. Because the British and French guys are literally taking their citizens out. They're saving them because they have highly competent leaders. Because their leaders care about their people. It's a difference, guys. Our leader can care two shits, and we're clearly seeing it. Clearly seeing it. But let me ask one question here, okay? I'm going to ask one question, then I'm going to go to another question here. So if the Taliban wasn't in control of Afghanistan, just listen to this here. If the Taliban wasn't in control, okay, we've seen them take control over this past weekend, right? Okay, which basically, like I said, swept under the radar of the Biden administration. They literally, I mean, you can see it. You can go back to previous videos, and some even his staff. I believe Jen Psaki even said, "We didn't even see this coming." Oh no. No, you didn't see it coming because you were talking about the Cuomo thing, and then you were talking about vaccines and mass mandates. You were more worried about that. They swept right underneath your radar. They got you right when you were vulnerable. Terrible. So let me just ask this one question, guys. So if the Taliban wasn't in control of Afghanistan, would we have the capability to go in there and get all of our people? So literally, here's another question. Are we afraid of the Taliban? Shouldn't we set the terms when it comes to coming in and getting our people out, right? We had a mission 10 years ago with Osama bin Laden, right? It was a couple little close calls, but we got the mission done. We got the job done. We need to look at a mission like that. We need to get the damn SEALs in there, do what they do, and get American lives out of there safely, securely, accurately, responsibly, and aggressively. SEAL teams need to be going in like yesterday and literally getting in there, getting our American people back home where they belong, and ending this crap. Needs to be done, guys. It's not a hard order to follow. The president can do this. Joe needs to do this. Get Americans out. Number 2, the American people gets what equipment they can while able to get out safe, right? Give the American military the equipment they need to handle the job accurately, responsibly, and safely, and do the job. We need SEALs in there, like I said yesterday. But no. The Biden administration just pulls the military out, literally, right at the peak of the moment of when this crap is going on. He did everything backwards, guys. You ask yourself, like this president, literally in this whole situation, did everything backwards when it came to this whole situation. Everything backwards. He left tens of thousands, possibly, American citizens and thousands of military vehicles and equipment behind, right for the hands of the Taliban to claim for their little own personal toys. Joe has set not only the American lives possibly, but the entire world stage on jeopardy. This is not only a national security issue, but a world issue, guys. This president just literally did everything, like I said, fucking backwards. And then when it comes to real issues, Biden is hiding because that's what he does. When trouble arrives, he hides behind his handlers, and he has his State Department issue statements, and his press secretary issue the statements for him because he's a weak-minded president that should have never been elected in the first place. We were fine under Donald Trump. Fine. And then on top of that, you see the sound clip I plugged in, guys? Since when does Pelosi give expertise in military operations? Oh, like she's a military operation expert? Isn't that supposed to come through the Secretary of Defense? Isn't that supposed to be coming from the State Department? Right? She's a House Speaker. What the hell does she know? This whole administration, guys, is a fucking joke. It really is. Backwards Joe. That's what I'm going to start calling him. Backwards Joe should have kept troops till all Americans were out. Should have kept the military troops, the units, the military equipment, all there until we can literally claim that it was safe to do so. That's what I would have done as president. I think that's what any common sense president would have done. Until the operation was ruled out safely, we keep all American troops in place, on standby just in case, right? That just in case scenario. But what did Joe do? The opposite. Some stuff, right, guys? Some stuff. That word that we had to hear. Literally that word. Some stuff. I think we heard it from a couple of his handlers. Jen Psaki reported that in just the other day. Some stuff was left behind. That some stuff, Jen, is our military equipment that your president, your boss, left behind for the Taliban to claim. Yeah. What a dumb thing to do, huh? Billions of dollars worth. Taxpayers' money. She is such an uncaring person. This whole administration is such an uncaring person. And then also defending and supporting the decision with the rest of the administration on leaving Americans behind. Folks, if that's not tyranny, that's grounds for what we used to have back in the country for execution. But we don't have that anymore. No. No, because this president needs to be held accountable for the crimes that's being left for these Americans, possibly in hostage stage by the Taliban. This president needs to be held accountable for that, for high crimes towards the American people. Sadly, folks, and this is true, sadly, okay, these people will die. These people will probably be executed and slaughtered by the Taliban. But what's Joe's response to that? We're looking into other situations, other type of agendas. Folks, they need to be kicked out, along with Joe too. This whole administration needs to be literally reassigned of their duties. This whole cabinet, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, everyone in the inner circle needs to be kicked out, and the original administration needs to be put back into place. We need to have the real president stand up, and that's not Joe. That's the Don, Donald Trump. I've said time after time after time, it's going to get worse, guys. It's going to get worse. Donald Trump, and I think a lot of people, even the ones that possibly did vote for Joe Biden, are seeing this. I'm even seeing reports that voters that voted for Joe back in November are disgraced and disgusted with him. Some have even saying that they wish they voted for Donald Trump to begin with. That this man is showing weak policy after weak policy. And we all know with the situation that's going on right now, I bet, guys, I bet his handlers will not let him speak again without a bevy of shrill voices shouting, "Thank you, thank you," signaling the point where they will end his speed mumbling, vacious, disgusting, terrible answers. Oh, you see now that the press is actually grilling him on literally grilling him on the Afghan story. Guys, do you think that the Taliban is going to cooperate with Joe? That's a question. I don't even think the media is asking that question. Do you think that they're going to cooperate with Joe? They're not as scared of Joe. He's not Donald Trump. Donald Trump got shit done. Joe is tippy-toeing more over coronavirus and mask mandates and vaccines. He's more worried about that than he's more worried about Afghanistan. He's doing everything backwards. It's backwards Joe for you. Backwards Joe. Guys, the hourglass and the sand is literally pouring down on this situation. He hasn't had a clue regarding the timeline and how all these people in our military will be evacuated. Hasn't even had the clue to even look at it. I never in my life, I'm going to close it out right here, guys. I never in my life seen failure at the level from any American president, not only in modern day history, but American political history, like I've seen with this administration. Guys, I'll admit, it was funny at first, but now it's scary, embarrassing, and should be put on a national security risk as a level. DEFCON 4 needs to be invoked, folks, because we are seeing a high level of security threats coming from this president and their mishandling of this new situation in Afghanistan. God willing, guys, I want to close it out by saying I pray for America. I pray for the safety of the American lives that are now trapped in hostage territory in Afghanistan under this group. I pray for the Afghan people, and I pray for the world. God bless everybody, and we'll hope to see you soon. Hey guys, Mike from the Patriot Angle podcast. This podcast now has an email. That's right, guys. If you want to literally give your feedback, maybe something that you want to hear on the show more often, or maybe just new content that I'm not mentioning that you'd like to hear on the podcast, simply give me your feedback on the podcast's email, which is patriotunfiltered1776@yahoo.com. That's right, guys. It's patriotunfiltered1776@yahoo.com. Simply give me your feedback, and I'll take it into consideration. I'll maybe just add in that onto my next episode. Or if you'd like to be a guest on my episode, simply give me your information, and we'll look into it. You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle podcast, an Anchor platform.